Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Broadway Jets YouTube channel. You'll know me from Twitter as NYJ Mike. I'm joined as always by the master of receipts, NYJ Matt. And Matt, there's a lot going on in Jets land, as there usually is in the offseason. New uniforms dropped. We like them. The draft is coming up in less than a week. We have a lot to discuss. You got a new microphone,
There we
nice
go.
sweatshirt. Come on, dude.
Ready
Get
to
us one.
go. We are sponsored by Jets X Factor, Robbie Sabo, the crew over there. Mike, the new uniforms are great. We're gonna do like a draft preview show here. Kind of give our take on what we think the Jets are gonna do at 10, maybe move up, maybe move back. If you are here, we're on the road to 2,000 subscribers. So
Sure.
go ahead, hit sub, like, comment. Before getting into the draft, Mike, the new uniforms are perfect. And the best part about them is very not often in sports do the owners do like the no-brainer thing. Like the no-brainer thing is you have a terrible logo, not great uniforms, just go back to the old logo and make new uniforms cool. And they just did it. So it was very cool that they had a layup and they made it, right? They did what they were supposed to do, and now we have a great uniform combo.
You got to give the Jets credit because they implemented these uniforms 5 short years ago. Weren't the best. I think some of the uniforms they weren't as horrible as we say. A lot of it, I think, is because there was not much success. Like remember in 2022, the Jets won a bunch of games when they were wearing that white top with the black pants,
Yeah.
and that was like the worst uniform. And we loved them because they were winning games. Um, but yeah, dude, the new ones, and we kind of knew what they were going to be. We had the white alternate uniforms last year are now the primary, basically.
Right behind me. So you don't
Right
see all the
behind you,
laundry I have on my floor. Yeah.
right behind me, I have a couple of white shirts that are similar style. And then the green looked nice. They kept the black alternate. The only little complaint I would have is at some point in my life, and I'm sure this will happen. I don't know if I'm sure, but the Jets should wear the Rex Ryan era uniforms as a throwback. I was hoping it would be with Aaron Rodgers because he's from that era. Would have been
Yeah.
really cool to see him in that thread, but that's okay. These are gorgeous and super excited to see the guys wear them.
The logo too, and I got a little
You
hate on
love
Twitter. I
you're
didn't
like
know the
big logo.
I didn't know the plane. I didn't know that was a plane. I thought it was the wing of a plane, and then you look closer, like, oh, I'm an idiot. But new uniform's perfect. And Mike, I go back to doing the obvious thing, and the Jets did it all off season, right? You
Yeah,
need a backup quarterback, you get Tyrod Taylor. You
bang,
need to add a big time receiver weapon, you get Mike Williams. You need
Mike
to get
Williams.
the number one left tackle available, you get him. You trade for a
Mhm.
right tackle.
Oh
So
yeah,
they actually did everything and more when you look at the trade they made for Reddick. So, dude, I will go into 2024
forgot
if
they
it
got Reddick.
all what happened?
I forgot they got Hassan Reddick. Holy shit!
It's like in 2022 when they drafted four maniacs. I'm like every time I get excited about Jermaine Johnson and Garrett Wilson, I forget they have like a lockdown in corner
Yeah,
and an all-time running back. Obviously, in 2022, we didn't know where it was going to go, but at the time, it felt great. So, Mike, they did everything right. And if 2024 crashes and burns, like full disaster mode, I will never say anything bad about the 2024 Joe Douglas moves that he made. He did everything I wanted him to do, and they did everything they could. And now that we're here, don't make a weird pick at 10, and then it's A plus off season. A plus.
that's it. You just have to not do anything insane in the draft. Don't take like a quarterback. Don't take an edge guy at 10. Whatever else they do is fine. They could take Bowers. I probably wouldn't do it. Fine. We'll talk about it. Um, it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, they really set themselves up. It makes you think, Matt. I was having this conversation with someone. We love the moves. We just went through them. It's what we wanted. It worked
Mhm.
out. If the Jets don't make the playoffs and it's not like major injuries or whatever, like they're gonna fire everyone. It's just like it's sad. Like I would not. I don't know. Joe Douglas did the things now that I would do. So maybe I don't know. What do you think about that?
It's fair because
It's
if
six
it was
years.
year 3,
Yeah.
I'd be like run it back. But Joe Douglas has made too many moves in his tenure that weren't the layup. They were down. Let's see, they're down 2, and he can like have a wide open layup, and he hits a guy down low, and he takes a contested three, like fade away off one leg. Like that's what he's been doing, and
Yeah.
finally did the right thing. Even 2023, like the whole they got all of Rodgers' friends, like they got a backup tackle in Billy Turner, and Al Nazar was supposed to be better. Like I don't blame everything in 2023. I think he failed in a lot of areas, but
like we liked Dalvin Cook. That was a move that we liked.
Like put yourself in 2019. I get that team wasn't constructed by Joe Douglas, but he was here in 2019.
It's a long time, Matt. It's a whole new thing. But to be fair, and we've killed Joe Douglas when he's. So this is just the opposite of that. We're very fair. We try to be fair. We're so fair. We're the fairest, dude. It's like the move that he made years ago. This was his whole philosophy and strategy was to set them up for whatever is happening now. So, and it did, right? So you came into this offseason and last offseason, to be fair, which is your point, with a team that's ready to go. You were a quarterback away. You got the quarterback, the best guy possible. You have all these young guys. You needed a couple holes, or you had a couple holes. You filled them. You filled them wrong last year. You filled them. It looks like he did the right things this year. We'll see what happens. Like, I don't know. It's just interesting in sports. It's just like you just get fired. I don't know. It bothers me because now I was mad at Joe Douglas because he didn't get a quarterback last year after Rodgers got hurt and for other moves. And this year I'm very happy with his moves. So now I'm happy with his moves. And if it doesn't work out perfectly, he's fired. I don't know. It's just interesting how.
Yeah, I get it. It's
bothers
not. It would be tough. Like you make the argument, you go 10-7, no major injuries, and you just don't get in the wild card, right? That's a possible scenario, and we'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. I know why
we're not getting there. We're going 12-5. But no, I know, Matt, and it's also interesting because look, this is the duality of sports. Also, look at 2008. The Jets go 9-7. Everybody gets fired. Mangini, not everyone. Then 2009, you go 9-7, and you have one of the best seasons in franchise history.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Good point. It's a good point.
Yeah. So,
but the cool thing about 2014 draft, right? There's a lot of unknown, and every year. What happened? I said 2014, 2024.
I was like, what did we get? We got like Calvin Pryor.
It was funny. I wrote an article for Jet X Factor about like the best draft moments from a fan perspective, and someone said Vernon Gholston. Oh. And I think about this way too often. I think about this more than I think of extended family members. People hate Quentin Coples, and he has like 15 career sacks, where Vernon Gholston literally didn't get a single sack or forced fumble.
And it's so sad, man. First of all, you've been writing some great articles for X Factor. Check it out under your pseudonym NYJ Matt, which is like
I think it's Matt NYJ.
Oh yeah, Matt ENWHYJAY, which is hilarious.
Someone DM me, they're like, I thought you were Indian. Like I was very confused. I've never seen you on YouTube, or I just crazy last name.
Oh, that's great. Is that even an Indian NYJ? Is that an Indian name?
That's why the DM was even funnier.
Oh my god! But it sucks too. The Vernon Gholston stuff. The Jets in those years. What if Gholston was 2008?
Yeah, 08 draft.
And 09 and 10, you're in the championship game, and you're like a pass rusher away from going to the Super Bowl, and you just can't get any sacks. So it's tough.
It's weird that Jets defense is like a top 5 defense in the past 20 years. Like imagine if they fit the overall pick, or Vernon.
I'd argue it's a top 5 defense ever. But yeah, you're a pass rusher away. I've made that argument before. I don't
Crazy.
know if it's accurate,
so, Mike, 2024, the scenarios that are in play, go back to like 2018. Jets were absolutely taking quarterbacks. It was a no-brainer what they were going to do. It was who they were going to take. 2019, there was like the Quinnen Josh Allen debate, right? The Josh Allen, not the one whose coach is a terrorist sympathizer. Yeah, the pass rusher. And they took Quinnen, and that was almost a lock as you got closer to draft day. 2020 was, hey, tackle receiver debate. And it was a fair debate.
Becton versus, what was it, Henry Ruggs?
Yeah, Henry Ruggs, but also like Justin Jefferson went.
CeeDee Lamb was there. I think that was
Judy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it was a weird, like the tackle combo we thought we were going to go. It was more like, is it going to be Thomas, Wills,
Wirfs.
Back then, there's one other guy. Oh, Austin Jackson was like in the Miami
He
pick
went
at
to
like
the
18.
Dolphins later, yeah.
So then we move on to 2021. Again, we knew what we were doing at quarter. Like we were taking a quarterback at 2 as Zach Wilson. So no surprise there.
Leading up to 2021 was the most insane offseason. The fans were going to murder each other. Everyone was home for COVID.
Yeah.
And we wanted to keep Sam Darnold, and we got into a war.
But you see where I'm going, right? That's 3 straight drafts, like very predictable first round. What you're gonna do, and they did trade up for AVT, which is cool. So yeah, predictable. 2022 was fun because it was very unpredictable. We didn't know what they were going to do at 4. Are you going to take a tackle? You're going to take the corner, a receiver at 10. At 10, maybe you go edge rusher. So it was it was a fun draft to have multiple first round picks.
Yeah.
And then, Mike, 2023, we are in no man's land, like truly no man's land, where we have to mock like who's going the first 12 picks, and I don't know, like we thought there was like a high end tackle, maybe Broderick Jones, but now 2024 reminds me of 2022, where we're not locked into a position or a player going into draft night. We actually could go 3 different areas. You can go tackle, receiver, tight end,
Right.
And the tackle receiver combo isn't like 2020 in the way that like we have the 10th pick now. And we had a 10th pick or 11th pick in 2020 flat.
Yeah.
But we know 4 quarterbacks are going to go now. We know 4 are going to go. And we know the guys in front of us. I feel as if 2024 is going to be the most fun draft night in 2022 aside in years because of the unpredictability that we have. And it's so cool. And I cannot wait to get into it. And there's so many options. But Mike, we're 5 days away now, 6 days away. Can't wait.
No, dude, it's going to be great. And the Jets are in a unique position because they're a win now team.
Yep.
With a roster that is basically fully constructed. The guy that you take at 10, the Jets have 22 starting players right now.
Yeah.
They do. So, and we talk about it all the time. You like to bring it up. You need 22 guys, 22 good players, go win a Super Bowl. The Jets have 22 guys. Yeah. So it's a luxury pick. They obviously need some depth. And you have a premium pick. Usually these teams that are picking in these situations are the Chiefs or whoever picking at the end of the first round. Not the Jets. This is the 10th overall pick. So it's, and that is really where the movement in the draft can come into play. You said 4 QBs now. Where do you think JJ McCarthy is the 4th guy?
I think the Vikings are going to trade up and take JJ McCarthy.
All right, because let's go through. I hope they do because I hope he sucks and I hope Darnold destroys everyone in Minnesota. But so first round, first overall pick, Caleb Williams.
Automatic.
The second and third guys to the Patriots and the Commanders, we think are Drake May and Jaden Daniels.
Correct.
4.
And they could be flipped, Mike. They're even money right now, too.
Really?
The market is dead even on if May or Daniels goes 2 or 3.
Then Vegas knows, so I guess they don't know. And then number 4 is the Cardinals. You assume they're going to take Marvin Harrison. How do you let that guy go? Is that your assumption?
I think they're taking Marvin Harrison Jr. Absolutely.
Yeah. The main holdup I have in the first round, in the early first round, is I don't know what the Chargers are going to do. It feels like you take a receiver if you're Los Angeles, because Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are gone. But they could probably go either way. They have Rashawn Slater, the left tackle, so you don't necessarily need a tackle.
I think they go Malik Neighbors, and I think that is where the top 5 would be set. But Mike, if they take Joe Alt, if they trade back out of 5 and have a team trade up for a quarterback, which I actually think can happen, you're looking at a blue chip player falling to at least 8, and you're going to get a blue chip guy at 10. They're a top 10 pick, but I think the Jets trading up to 8 is very possible. What do you think the Giants do? I think the Giants are going to take a quarterback. I could see that happening. You take a quarterback. If Daniel Jones is amazing, and you do the whole, all right, well, he earned his contract. Now we know we're great with Daniel Jones, and we have a good young guy sitting behind him. I think the reason why I would take a quarterback from the Giants front office is you need something to fall back on. If it fails this year, you'd be like, oh, our GM and head coach are year 4 with a brand new quarterback. So I could see the Giants taking a quarterback at 6, definitely.
The Giants are going to take a quarterback in the draft. I've talked to some Giants fans. Granted, these are low IQ individuals. they want the Giants to take a receiver. This is just a couple people. It's not a and draft a quarterback in the second or third round, which it doesn't sound crazy to me. We've been doing the last decade or so, probably a little bit more than that, has been really like if it's your guy, go get him. But it kind of seems like nobody knows what the hell is going on when you draft quarterbacks or anything. So it's not crazy if you're the Giants take one of these insane receivers. They have no playmakers in offense. Who's on offense? Wan'Dale Robinson's a decent player. Saquon's gone. You have the Devin Singletary. Like Darren Waller is becoming a rapper and might retire. So I don't know what they're doing, but maybe you take a Rome number 6 if Neighbors and Harrison are gone, and you go get Michael Penix or Bo Nix or something in the second or third round. Because how is Bo Nix is so much different than Jaden Daniels? I don't know. It's interesting, but
Daniels brings, and I'm actually higher on Bo Nix. I think the most. Whenever you complete 80% of passes, I don't care what offense you're in, you can be accurate. You can make plays downfield too. I think Bo Nix is a fine second round pick. I think Daniels, what he can do in the run game, just sets him. He can just be a dynamic player. Call it Lamar Jackson, call it whoever you want. Right. If you can get that guy, you can actually change your franchise. Where Bo Nix is a much low floor player or low ceiling.
No. Of course, there's a reason why one of these guys is going to go top 3, and the other guy's going to go second round.
But like playing off your fact, if the Giants take a receiver, I'd argue that's obviously a not fun position to be the Jets, because then you think, well, Tennessee's with a new head coach aligned to the offensive line.
And they signed Calvin Ridley in the offseason, so you figure they go best tackle available.
Yep. And if that's how the draft unfolds, where you have 3 quarterbacks go, 3 receivers go, and Joe out of 7. And we haven't touched on here, like it could be the Arnold from Alabama, the corner. It could be Dallas Turner. It could be guys that
edge rusher,
may sneak up here. If those are the first 7 to go, I'd argue as a Jet fan, your pool of players now goes to Brock Bowers, Troy Fontenot, Olu Fashanu, Talis Fuaga,
Latham, maybe
JC Latham. So then you start the dream of jumping and getting like a Rome Odunze, of trading up for a Marvin Harrison Jr. or Alt or Neighbors, starts falling away. And at that point, Mike, I think a trade back option is more fun, because you can take a Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU. You can maybe take Franklin. You can take guys that people mock to be starters, but maybe not high-end players, if that's how the board falls to you.
Yeah. So, Matt, you're saying 4 quarterbacks go. There is a receiver like Rome available at 8. Trade up.
I trade up. I don't think.
I think Joe Douglas would do that too, based on his track record.
And think about it, like Atlanta's taken Kyle Pitts, a playmaker. They've taken Drake London, a playmaker, and they can move 2 spots back, maybe net a future 3rd round pick, 2nd round pick. I'm not a draft point calculator, but yeah, move back 2 spots and get maybe Dallas Turner, the guy you wanted, that Chicago is probably not going to take a defensive player. And the Jets might think, hey, if Rome might fall to Chicago, they can pair him up with Caleb Williams. So in a lot of times where the Jets get a team trade up in front of them, Broderick Jones last year, even though there's a lot of smoke and mirrors of what they could have done, do the thing and trade up and just get the guy you want. I'm much more excited trading up and getting a top 8 player than going back to 17 and maybe getting a 2nd round pick that's going to help like at safety. Like, I don't know.
I agree, Matt. We have a 40-year-old quarterback, and all of the guys that the Jets brought in, sans Hassan Reddick, who could sign a multi-year deal, are 1-year kind of guys. So let's go. And I mean, that also brings into the question, what are you doing with tackle kind of long term? Does Joe Douglas even give a shit anymore long term? I hope not. Who cares? Next year, it is what it is. But and then Matt, so those are your options, right? So you could stay at 10. You could take the best player available. It could be Bowers. I don't know if it makes the Jets the best.
That's what I'm pulling up here, Mike, because the number 10 pick in the draft, which again currently aligned to the Jets is the odds-on favorite. Brock Bowers is plus 150, like unbelievably high at that low in the draft to be that the odds being that good to take a player. So Mike, in order it's Bowers, Fuaga is plus 600, Rome is plus 700, Fontenot is plus 750, then Olu is plus 800. And Mike, that's the thing I want to touch on briefly. When the Jets won games late in the season, all Twitter was saying is that we just blew our shot at Alt or Olu. Like, that was it. And now Olu's like forgotten from everybody's minds when he was a top 5 pick, largely assumed by Jets Twitter and by a lot of people in the NFL. So I tweeted today, I would still love Olu at 10. I would love it. And would I prefer a receiver? Probably as of today, maybe. I would like him over Brock Bowers, that's for sure.
Yeah, Matt, and the Jets have gotten burned the last 2 years in seasons where they can compete and did compete, and you win 7 games by lack of specifically offensive tackle depth. Even in years where they have extra guys there, everyone just goes down. So going into a season like this with Tyron Smith, who famously has not played 17 games or ever and 16 games since 2015. And you have Morgan Moses, who's 33, 34 years old. It's probably the prudent thing to take a very premium pick on a tackle in this draft. If that means you have to trade back a little bit and get a Brian Washington, another receiver or something like that, and take a tackle in the second round or the third round if you can acquire another pick.
Yeah.
It's the sexy pick is not that, and it will be very fun to have another crazy receiver. You took Garrett Wilson at 10. What if you get another Garrett Wilson? Now you just are stacked. It's a luxury.
I'm so excited, man.
I'm so excited. It's so interesting too because I keep thinking whoever the Jets get, if it's not a tackle, if it's Brock Bowers or one of these receivers, how much more productive is that guy going to be than Allen Lazard as the third receiver? So probably decently, right? Or Brock Bowers than Tyler Conklin. They're not world beaters, Conklin and Lazard, but they are professional players. You have to figure Lazard will be a little bit better this year with Aaron Rodgers. It's tough, Matt. Is that worth giving up if Tyron Smith goes down? I don't. Of course, also if you take so whatever you do in the draft, they're going to make a subsequent move. If you take a receiver, maybe you go get David Bakhtiari, but then can he even stand up? If you take a tackle in the draft, maybe you go sign Corey Davis, right? Bring him back, something like that. So it's very, very interesting, Matt. We keep saying the scenarios, and any scenario I'm probably pretty good with. Even if you take Bowers, but if you take Bowers, you really have to hit. He has to be a monster, or it's a poor pick.
I know.
He has to be insane.
I feel very repetitive in my takes of what to do, and I just love the idea. I love the idea of trading up. I love it, and I don't care about future capital. I don't care about the future. On record right now, I care about 2024 and 2025. That's where you have the nucleus of this team. You got to make a playoff run. And I want to see a fun playoff run with Jet fans at MetLife Stadium late in December to get into the playoffs. That is fun, Mike. And if you do this whole build it the right way, and I don't want to give up a future.
We already did that. We did that for 6 years, and I agreed. You have to do it. And the more you say, the more I agree with it, because how is the team going to get the best possible unit in 2024? And I think it is trading up to take one of the best receivers and signing David Bakhtiari and let Rucker be tight end number 2.
I'm with you. And you need to then hit on later picks too and undrafted free agents or low-level guys, because you do have to pay all the monsters that you have. You do have to pay. The check is going to come home to pay out the 2022 draft. The whole 5th-year option with AVT is a very hot debate that we can discuss once the draft wraps up, which is when they're going to probably end up doing it, either accepting it or declining it. But $15 million for a guy that unfortunately hasn't been healthy, and then you have to pay all the 2022 draft, Mike. You got to pay them.
AVT is very interesting, Matt, because look at the guard market last year. Like Robert Hunt, the guard from
Crazy.
Miami, went 5 years, $100 million to the Panthers. You could lock in AVT for 15, which is $5 million less APY.
But Mike, are all injuries the same? Like a torn tricep is like a freak thing. I feel like that happened, like a freak thing that happened, and it's not like he came back out of shape or was unhealthy or that is an asshole on social media. AVT is just like a great dude, and he just goes to Denver and that fucking field, like, just tears the kill. And like, I don't. If you would have told me that when AVT was drafted, we would get one good year out of him, 1 year that he was looking like a Pro Bowl player and then gets hurt, and then gets hurt again, I probably seemed like pissed at him or annoyed or be like, this is not going the direction. But I just don't feel like that about him, which is probably unfair. Maybe I just like AVT.
It feels like freak injuries. People are obviously comparing him to Becton online, which is the comparison you just made without saying it, which is funny. Came back overweight.
I'm a Becton guy.
It's a pro Becton podcast.
Becton hasn't DM'd me back in the past 2 messages. I'm upset by it.
This is an anti-Becton podcast. No, it would be. It's not
an
anti
like, a pro Becton.
It's a pro Becton podcast. I was saying because you said he didn't answer you.
Oh, true.
Yeah. I wouldn't even mind bringing him back, but I don't know. Maybe he has a good rapport with Rodgers. He can be the swing tackle. But I agree with you, Matt. It seems like 2 freak injuries. I'm willing to bet on AVT coming back and being that dude. I'm glad they put him in the uniform drop. Dude, if you look
matters.
It matters. If you look at the uniform drop last time, the players that were in the uniform drop versus the players that the Jets omitted from the uniform drop this time, it's just insane the roster that the Jets have. Like, you didn't have Quinn Williams, you didn't have Quincy Williams, you had none of the new, like, Tyron Smith, Hassan Reddick, Mike Williams. None of these, DJ Reed, none of these guys can make our uniform drop.
It's very funny that we even knew how bad that 2019 uniform drop combo was like a year later. Like mid-2020, we're like, fuck, those guys are terrible. Like, that was our core. But do you see the leaked uniforms that they could have had? Like the logos. Oh my, Mike. I don't buy all of it, but there are leaked drafts of what the logo or uniforms could have been.
Good.
And it looks like we like a clip art. We could have done a better job. It was very bad. And all that aside, the Becton thing, the reason he can't come back, he cannot be a Jet, is he retweeted a video of me, of like a chiropractor on he's like a fake bone body in front of him, and he's like breaking the leg and like breathe in, like twist the neck off, and he retweeted it when I said that this is the Jets training staff. Like, at a point, you can't keep doing stuff like that and then come back. Like, it just doesn't work. And
I want to do the guy just destroying the skeleton.
I would love to do a deep dive on Becton's time with the Jets. Like, if I can get him to do once he's out of the league, because we're at 28-minute mark, meaning that we'll probably have like 20 people still watching at this time. So I feel like I can say this. Yeah. Darren Lee and I have corresponded a bunch, like a ton. Yeah. I gotta send you some of them too. And I want to do a deep dive on what happened. He's told me stories of his exit from the New York Jets, which is, if true, unbelievable. Like the craziest shit ever. Have I told you it?
I know some of it, yeah.
So I ended up
very good at keeping these things confidential, Matt. This is
yeah. He ended up having trouble with the law, like a bad. I think I'm not gonna say the exact thing.
Don't tell Matt your secrets. He'll say it on a podcast.
Well, I didn't.
No, I know. You didn't say
what it was, but I DM'd him like a month ago. I said, "Hey, love to have you on our show, kind of break down." He's like, "I'm not ready. When I am ready, I'll do that." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." I want to do it with Becton. I want to be like, what happened in between the walls at one Jets drive, and I think Becton would be willing to do that. Maybe.
Yeah, it seems like if he's gonna retweet insane shit about the Jets training staff, why wouldn't he come and talk about it? He seems salty. I'm sure he is bitter about. Well, the original story that is public is that his injury in year 2, right?
Yeah, the Carolina game.
In the what game was that?
Carolina opening
the Panthers game, right? Zach Wilson's first game. In that game, he got rolled up on, was supposed to miss what the Jets said he's going to miss whatever amount of weeks, like 6 weeks.
Yep.
And then he never came back. And then Becton's team said that the Jets undervalued the time that he was supposed to miss, making him look bad. That's the original beef.
I'm pretty positive they were considering filing an injury grievance against the New York Jets and decided not to because he's going to year 3 and he's still under contract for 2.5, potentially 3 more years. They probably just didn't want to do that.
Right.
But clearly there was bad blood the entire time after that injury happened. And so we have Becton aside. I forgot why we started on AVT, but the uniform drop picture, you're right, is a lot better this time around. And Mike, I want to find out the NFL schedule and when we're playing week 1 because we need a home game. I want a home game at 1 o'clock. If you give us a primetime game, fine. But I'd love like a home game, 1 o'clock, get there at 9:30, crack open the first domestic beer at what, 9:45?
9:31.
9:31. Mike will take 20 fireball shots with our buddy Tommy, and Mike will be fine. Tommy will be asleep at halftime. Just
we always say we're gonna do a shot every hour, and then we take like 25 shots, and there's only like 2 hours before the game. It's impossible. But
we live a hell of a life. I just can't wait for it, man. It's gonna be
people
very
gotta
fun.
come tailgate with us. If you're listening this far, DM us. We always say it. Say hi.
We'll follow back.
Come. Let's make some plans to tailgate. If you're listening this far, you're a true fan.
Of not only the Discord.
What is it? The Discord? The Discord's been good.
Are we going to talk about the Taylor Swift tweet from yesterday?
Banger.
I knew when I tweeted it out, I probably should have hashtagged the album. Like, I don't know what the hashtag is because it probably would have been bigger. But I tweeted it out. Took a work call at like 10:30. It was like on video. So then like noon comes, I check my phone again. It's like 15,000 likes. I'm like, Jesus Christ. It hit like the Taylor Swift algorithm. And then they come to my pinned tweet and it's me saying a sandwich to Mike Williams. Like just the perfect duality of a man.
The tweet was Travis Kelce trying to remember the lyrics to all of Taylor Swift songs. And it's that little Chinese kid like trying to take the knowledge out of the book and put it on his head. Video. So funny, dude. Good tweet. Good old fashioned. Just guys being dudes. Good tweets.
I think my most liked tweets the Sean Payton Bong video, and then I have a great one of I photoshopped that Lisa Ann liked Zach Wilson hitting the gritty after the Steelers game.
After he fucked his mom's friend.
He's got the dog in him. It's funny that Sam Darnold had the mono stuff.
Yeah.
And the Page 6 article of him drunk after the Raiders win and hooking up with girls. And at that time, we're like, why is there always a storyline around our quarterback? Like the GQ, Mark Sanchez, and Gino getting punched by IK.
Ick.
And so like those 3 sagas happen. And I'm like, why is there always a story around our quarterback? Then Zach Wilson comes in and he's banging his mom's friends. And he's not willing to play because of injury. And then
at least Rodgers is easy, man.
Rodgers is like Dr. Fauci created HIV. Like we just can't get a normal run.
I think Danny Beggs tweeted out when you were having the debate about the tail of the plane, and he was like, "It's like a gas stream of the U.S. government dropping HIV." Oh, dude, I was cracking up at that.
There's 2 ways you can go with Rodgers. You can either be very mad online and be like he's an idiot and like personally upset, or you can be like he's kind of hilarious and crazy. And I also,
for the record, when he was on the Packers, I had the same take about it as I do now. I never hated Rodgers. Whatever, he wants to say insane shit. Who cares? He wants to go run for president. Just don't actually do it.
That was a weird week.
That sucked. That was a horrible rumor. I was nervous. I just didn't understand why he couldn't do both. You can't go campaign and then play football on Sunday. I don't know. Glad we don't have to discuss that. But man,
anything else before we wrap? We have a good show lined up that we have to do. We'll probably maybe do one more before the draft as like things start tightening. And then draft night will definitely rip one post pick. And should we get together for the draft?
For sure. Why not?
Are
Let's do
you
it.
are you potentially going to your dad's basement and
Probably
or
not because it's a Thursday. It's just tough for one pick. Maybe we can meet somewhere in the middle, a little Hoboken action or something.
Yeah. If we say that now, and what's going to happen is I'm going to watch at my house. You're going to watch at your house, and then we'll rip a pod after. You're coming to today.
I'm leaving
to the
here
tour.
shortly. I'm excited. Watching playoff basketball, little Mets.
What do we drink in the backyard? We're going to my parents' house. My parents are not home. We are 27 years old, throwing like a little backyard party at my parents' house, like we're 18 again. Cannot wait. And we have to make a fantasy baseball trade. We're definitely gonna make a trade.
I have some guys. We got to write our song that we've been working on.
Oh yeah, we have to. You have a good start. You have a good blueprint for it.
Little outline. Never hurt anybody.
I love this new microphone. I hope it sounds good.
It sounds great.
Like better than the other one.
It does. It's noticeably better. It's really good. I'm gonna get the same one. I'm gonna get a new camera. Maybe I'll do a background so you can see my stupid room in the back.
Yeah, I gotta figure that out. I'd love to have a normal background. Like
No,
all
I
my,
think
I have a
it's
ton
nice
of
like
jet
this.
gear.
Yeah.
All right.
Set up like a little man cave.
Sometimes I forget we have CJ Mosley on our team. Like just have like a top 5 inside linebacker in the league. Like I'm like looking at a roster. You brought before you forgot we had Hassan Reddick. Like,
dude,
we have Quincy Williams too. You know,
we have so many guys. We finally have players that are like tenured on the Jets. There was a span of time from 2017 to 20 where you just didn't have any of the same players for years. They kept replacing players. It's nice. We've had guys for 5-6 years. Thomas Hennessy's been through 3 uniform changes. Brant Boyer's been through 3 head coaching regimes.
That's a great point.
Sick.
Before we wrap, we either can end it now or we can do this over FaceTime. But I feel like I want to start putting episode numbers on our show.
Yeah.
Like we did 55 podcasts, which is hilarious. And I never looked at any of the analytics of anybody listening. It could have been just us talking to nobody the entire time. I think people liked it. But there's a guy that DM me, he's a truck driver. And he's like, I can't watch you guys on YouTube. Can you make the podcast audio only? And I'm like, I think I can. But
why doesn't he just listen to the YouTube? Thank you for listening, truck driver. I do appreciate it, but just listen to the audio.
Dude, the Lane Kiffin quote tweet yesterday was awesome. Lane Kiffin's one of my favorite college football coaches ever. So that was a good one. All right. I think I have everything I said. Anything else before I end recording, load it, and then drink a large coffee and have a Zen?
No. Looking forward to the draft. You know, we'll do another video before, but I think we covered it all. That was productive, Matt.
Fun.
Good Saturday morning.
Very fun. All right. If you made this far, you are a true diehard. Let us know. DM us, even if we already follow you back. DM us if you made it this far, so we know our viewership has changed from 100% male to 0% female. Is now 99% male and 1% female. So the 1% female out there, we appreciate you. Thank you for helping.
It's called growth, character development. Come on,
we're getting better.
Come on,
all right, buddy.
All right, buddy.